Today I learned that in 2013, a man fell off a boat in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and nobody noticed. He woke up floating in complete darkness as the boat sailed away. For the next 28 hours, he would battle storms, exhaustion, jellyfish, sharks, and even birds trying to peck out his eyes. Against every odd imaginable, he somehow survived. Here's how. Brett Archibald wasn't an inexperienced traveler. The 50-year-old businessman from Cape Town, South Africa, had joined 9 friends on what was supposed to be the surfing trip of a lifetime. Their destination was Indonesia's Mentawai Islands, home to some of the world's best waves. Everything had gone according to plan, until the boat ride. The journey would take roughly 10 hours across the Mentawai Strait. Somewhere during the trip, Brett became violently sick. Food poisoning hit him hard. As the hours passed, he grew weaker and weaker. Outside, the weather wasn't helping. Heavy rain, strong winds, pitch-black darkness. Then, around 2:30 in the morning, he walked to the side of the boat to vomit. A few seconds later, everything went black. When Brett opened his eyes, he wasn't on the boat anymore. He was floating in the ocean. The first thing he saw was the boat already pulling away, only about 15 meters ahead. Close enough to see, far too far to catch. He screamed, again and again, with everything left in his lungs. But between the engine, the storm, and the crashing waves, nobody heard him. The light slowly disappeared into the darkness. He later described the moment as watching his life disappear. He remembers making a strange sound, a wild, almost animal-like laugh. For a split second he thought there was some kind of creature nearby. Then he realized the sound was coming from him. His brain was already struggling to process what had happened. Meanwhile, the boat kept moving. Nobody noticed Brett was gone. His friends assumed he was sleeping somewhere below deck. It wasn't until hours later, when breakfast was served, that someone finally asked, "Where's Brett?" At first, nobody panicked. People searched the cabins, the bathrooms, the deck. Then reality hit. He wasn't on the boat. The captain immediately turned the vessel around. Emergency services were called. Multiple boats joined the search. Aircraft were dispatched. But the Indian Ocean is enormous. Finding one man floating in open water is almost impossible. Back in the water, Brett focused on one thing: don't panic. As an experienced surfer and strong swimmer, he understood something most people don't. Fighting the ocean only wastes energy. Instead, he created a rhythm. He breathed deeply, swam through incoming waves, and floated whenever possible. To distract himself, he mentally went through every book he'd ever read, every music album he owned, every memory he could recall. When that wasn't enough, he started singing out loud, anything, just to keep his mind from giving up. Hour after hour, he floated, completely alone. But surviving the ocean wasn't enough. The ocean fought back. Jellyfish stung him repeatedly. Salt water burned his eyes and throat. His muscles cramped so badly, he struggled to move. Then, something appeared beneath him. A shark. It circled, then disappeared. Brett froze. There was nothing he could do. No boat, no weapon, no escape. Eventually, the shark moved on. But the dangers weren't over. As exhaustion took over, he briefly fell asleep floating in the water. He woke to an explosion of pain. A seagull had landed on his head, and another slammed directly into his face. Its sharp beak cut across the bridge of his nose. Blood poured down his face. He later believed the birds were trying to attack his eyes, mistaking him for something already dead. By now, Brett had been floating for more than an entire day. He began hallucinating. He imagined rescue boats that weren't there. He thought he saw islands, voices, people. None of it was real. Every minute became a decision: keep floating or stop. And once you stop, the ocean wins. Then, something unbelievable happened. In the distance, he heard an engine. A search plane spotted movement below. They alerted nearby rescue boats. One of them changed course. As it got closer, the crew couldn't believe what they were seeing. A man, still alive, floating in the middle of the Indian Ocean. After 28 hours at sea, Brett Archibald was finally pulled from the water. Cold, exhausted, covered in cuts, but alive. So, today I learned that one man survived nearly 28 hours alone in the Indian Ocean after falling overboard in the middle of the night. He faced storms, food poisoning, sharks, jellyfish, hallucinations, and birds attacking his face. Yet somehow, he never gave up, because sometimes, survival isn't about being the strongest. It's simply about refusing to quit. If you learned something new today, subscribe to Today I Learned, because tomorrow, there's always something else to discover.